Hi, Shimmy. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting these essays for you. Let's get straight into what you've written. The first one is the English and Homestay letter. Let's see what you wrote. Dear Mr. or Madam, my name is John Doe. I am writing this letter to introduce myself and to inquire some basic information about the country since this is going to be my first time there. As you might know, I will be studying English for the next 6 months at the UK University, and I would like to get a little more familiar with you. I am a 25 years old student. I used to play the guitar, but I do not have time anymore for practice. So now I spend my time just listening to music and studying. I enjoy all kinds of food and meeting new people. Since this is going to be my first time in the UK, I am wondering what kind of clothes should I bring with me. I live in a tropical country, so that seasons are unfamiliar to me. Is the weather in the UK warm enough to just wear light jackets and jeans? I would like to know, how is the public transportation system? I am aware I will have to travel every day from your house to the university, and I would like to know what kind of transportation resources I could use to get there and back home. Now, even though I will be studying, I'm eager to know the country. What are some places you would recommend for me to visit while I am there? Finally, I would like to let you know that my flight will be landing, I think you mean here, around 6 p.m. next Sunday, and I am assuming I will be there around 8 or 9 p.m., depending on the traffic. I'm excited to meet you and spend some time with you. Best regards. Okay, so I like a lot of this. It looks like, Shimmy, you've got a really, really good, solid level of English. Really, very, very nice. It was very accurate in all over basically. There were a few mistakes, and so what I want to do is I just want to go through this with you. We'll read it again and see what could have been better, what could have changed. So the first thing I want to change is this: dear Mr. or Madam. This is not really an appropriate greeting in a letter. We usually say dear sir or madam. That's fine. Okay. And then, since you don't know the name of the person you're writing to, the correct um, sign off here would be yours faithfully. Okay? Don't forget the comma. So that's the first thing. I like this. My name is John Doe. I'm writing this letter, etc., etc. Oh, but here, not I am writing to inquire. I'm writing to inquire about some basic information. Then it feels a little awkward because it's about. But on the whole, it's fine. I mean, you could have said it a little differently. One thing that I always really like is, because you're going to be staying with these people, I also like thanking them. So I would have said, dear sir or madam, I am writing to thank you for agreeing to host me as part of the English and Homestay program, and introduce myself. Um, yeah, you could have said that. Like I said, I think what you said is fine. I am writing this letter to introduce myself and to inquire about some basic information regarding the UK. You could have said that, so you could avoid this about. It's not a big deal, but it's just a personal preference, I suppose. Okay. This is fine. Here, I am a 25-year-old student. This here, 25-year-old, we often hyphenate this, and it's an adjective, so there's no S, okay? I do not have time anymore for practice. Okay, that's a little awkward. We usually would say, I do not have time to practice anymore. Okay, that would be a little more natural in terms of word order. Okay, and then this is fine. Let's see. Here is where I wanted a little work. So this is a formal letter. And so in formal letters, what we try to do is we try to avoid direct questions. So we use indirect questions. And you did do some of them like this. Where is it? Let me see. I would like to know, etc., etc. So that's an example here. I would like to know what kind of transportation and resources I could use. That's perfect. So this is the kind of language you want to use throughout. You want to avoid these direct questions. So this is a direct question. What are some places you would recommend for me? That's a direct question. So those are the kinds of things that we tend to avoid when we're writing people we don't know. We prefer to be a little more indirect. So let's look at this paragraph a little more carefully, see what could have been changed, because I did catch a couple of grammatical mistakes here. So, since this is going to be my first time in the UK, comma, I am wondering what kind of clothes I should bring with me. This is an indirect question. It's good. I am wondering what kind, but then the rest of the sentence needs to have sentence order. Even though you're essentially asking a question, it should look like a sentence. So, what kind of clothes I should bring with me? And then not so that. It should just be, I live in a tropical country, so seasons are unfamiliar to me. All right, without the that. Here you could have avoided this. Is the weather in the UK warm enough? You could say instead something like, please let me know if the weather in the UK is warm enough to wear light jackets and jeans. And then full stop, no question. Here you had another problem with the word order. I would like to know how the public transportation system is. Okay, again, it should be sentence order. I'm aware I will have to travel every day from your house to the university, and I would like to know what kind of transportation resources I could use to get there and back home. That's perfect. Now, even though I will be studying, I'm eager to know the country. Now, here I didn't like this comment, didn't feel enough. You could have put a semicolon, which would have been better. And to avoid, again, a direct question, you could have said, let me see. I would appreciate some recommendations for places to visit while I am there. Okay, so that would be a nice way to do this. Obviously you left out an N here, 6 p.m. 95, and I'm assuming I will be there. Okay, fine. And then the rest of it was fine. Okay, just remember what I said about the yours faithfully, and I thought you did a good job. So most of it's really, really good. Just some details that we have to work on to get this really to be a top-notch task 1. Let's look at your task 2 about switching jobs. Let's see what you said. All right, what's going on here? You have 5 paragraphs. What we typically recommend, Shymmy, is 4 paragraphs. So let me show you what I mean. So, okay, great. Introduction, conclusion. But then this is to what extent you don't need to have 1 paragraph with your opinion. Your paragraph that includes your opinion should be kind of what's the word I want? Like all kind of condensed into 1 paragraph. You'll see what I mean. Let's go over it and we'll talk about it. Job security is something most people look for, which means once you find a job, you should keep it and stay safe. However, changing jobs, all right, this is a problem with your grammar. However, and even though here is a little awkward. So, however, okay. However, even though changing jobs might be risky, it is the best way to grow as a person and as a professional. I completely disagree with the idea that you should stay in the same job all your working life. Okay, fine. I think maybe what I would have liked here is maybe better linking between this idea and the previous one. So let's see, what did you say? However, changing jobs, however, even though changing jobs might be risky, it is the best way to. Therefore, I just completely disagree. So that would have made more sense to me. Okay? All right. Since the Industrial Revolution, the job culture had incentivized the idea of getting a job and maintaining it as long as possible. People who started in a company used to stay in the same place and look for a way to grow inside the company and develop a professional career. Maintaining a job was seen as an example of maturity and success. You don't need a comma here. People with more than 10 years in the company were considered valuable members of the team and pillars of the company. What a great vocabulary word there. Lovely. Nowadays, however, mindsets have changed and people are looking for something more than job security. More benefits, more growth opportunities, and a healthy work environment are crucial factors when deciding whether or not to stay in a company. Even though some people might see this as a lack of loyalty for a company that allows their employees to have a job, the truth is that new generations are more aware of their capabilities and less afraid is the right word here. Okay, because you have an adjective, more aware and less afraid. From my point of view, changing jobs and even careers opens the mind to a plethora of possibilities. People who change jobs frequently are more open to accepting challenges, learn different more open to look are more open to accepting, learning, and having. Okay, unless it's, let me try that again. People who change jobs frequently are more open to accepting challenges, learn different ways of thinking, and have opportunities. Yeah, okay, so it's not that they're more open to doing these things, but they just, okay, I understand it. I understand it. It's fine. It was a little strange on the first read, but around the second or third time I got it. So, people who change jobs frequently, or why is this in the past tense? I would just leave it present tense. So, people who change jobs frequently are more open to accepting idea challenges, learn different ways of thinking, and have opportunities of adapting and be I want to say here. Still, there's something strange here. Than those who maintained the status quo. Changing jobs also forces people to remain in a state of continuous learning, which helps them to maintain relevance in a changing world. Okay. In conclusion, even though maintaining a job used to be considered a key factor for stability and success, new generations have become more aware of the importance of change and the advantages of experimenting with different kinds of cultures, companies, and work environments. Hence, everyone should allow themselves to experiment with change and to not affront but confront new challenges in their careers. Okay, so good. I liked so much of this language. I thought it was really, really lovely. It's so natural and it's a very easy read. Okay, there were a couple of mistakes, but nothing really, really earth shattering. What I want to talk to you about is this structure you used and your decision to use 5 paragraphs where it's like, okay, here you talked about the one side, here you talked about the other side, and then here you talked about why you supported the other side. So let's talk about this. This is a to what extent do you agree or disagree essay. You said, I completely disagree that you should stay with the same job. Okay. So then it begs the question, well, since you completely disagree, and what we're concerned about is your opinion, why even have this paragraph? Okay. This is called a concession paragraph where you analyze the opposite side and you say what's good about it and whatever. But you didn't really do that. You just presented the opposite side without showing that it was your opinion. And the reason why your opinion is important is this: to what extent do you agree? Okay. So to just show us the opposite side in order to show it is not entirely appropriate. You have to show us how the opposite side relates to your opinion. Okay. And so for that reason, if you want to include this paragraph, I would temper this a little bit. All right. I would say, despite the advantages in the past of staying at one job, nowadays I disagree with the idea that you should stay in the same job. Okay. Because that's really what you're telling us here. You're telling us that this is kind of an old-fashioned idea that might have made sense, maybe 50 years ago, but nowadays is obsolete. So you want to work that into your introduction. This is really important because if you look at band descriptors for task achievement under band 7, it says present a clear position throughout your response. The way this is written with this I completely agree, and then all of a sudden you're telling us why people stay in the company, it doesn't make sense. We don't understand why you're including it. And so it's going to hurt your task achievement. Okay. So that's what I would like to do. I'd like you to see this. I would like you to change this a little bit. And I would like, this to show up as kind of part of your opinion. Do you understand what I mean? That, okay, yeah, I see how this was relevant in the past. And you could have done that in a couple of ways. You could have said something like, you could have had a clearer topic sentence here showing how it relates to your ideas. So you could have said that, Let's see. The idea of staying in a job for one's entire career is obsolete, but would have been but was relevant 100, 200 years ago. Okay, so that's clearly stating the main idea of this paragraph, where you're putting it in like this historical perspective. Nowadays doesn't make sense. So it's your position is so clear that way, and then this paragraph makes sense to us. Okay, then what I want here is I would also like to see these two paragraphs kind of condensed and kind of assimilated and integrated. That would have been better rather than having just this. Okay. So those are my suggestions. I saw, like I said, a lot of really good things, really nice language. Your writing is very high level, so I'm pleased to see that. But I do want to see you try to apply some of the things that I'm talking about here with you today. Okay. So, I hope that that feedback is helpful, and I'm really looking forward to your next set of essays. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to include them in your next email, and I'll be waiting for that next set of essays. Okay, good luck.